chosen ones, listen carefully. Some days carry a weight that others do not. This Thursday is one of those days. The wise know that not every step outside is guided by freedom. Sometimes it is guided by distraction, by energies pulling you away from your true path. Shaolin has taught me this truth. Where your attention goes, energy flows. If your focus is scattered, your spirit weakens. If your attention is stolen by noise, your inner fire dims. On days when the outside world is heavy with confusion, it is not strength to walk out blindly. It is wisdom to stay still, to guard the temple within. Long ago, in the monastery, my teacher told me, the warrior who does not master his own mind is already defeated. He was not speaking of battlefields, but of the ordinary days when we are tempted to give away our focus. The battle is always within. And this Thursday, God asks you to keep your power close, to stay centered, to walk inward instead of outward. In this video, I will share with you the hidden principles behind this warning. Why silence is sometimes more powerful than movement. Why retreat can be the greatest advance. Why you must learn to step back from desire, fear, and attachment in order to hear the deeper call of your destiny. These are not ideas from books or theories from scholars. They are lessons carved from the ancient discipline of Shaolin, lessons lived through stillness, struggle, and unshakable practice. Stay with me until the end, and you will not only understand why stepping outside this Thursday carries risk, you will learn how to transform that day into a doorway of strength. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire. Subscribe now, so this wisdom will always find its way back to you. There are mornings when the body feels heavy, and the mind whispers of rest. The air is cold, the floor unwelcoming, and the path ahead seems long. In those moments, emotion rises first. It says, not today. Wait until you feel ready. But readiness is a trick of the mind. If we wait for it, we wait forever. When I trained in the monastery, the bell would sound before the sun had risen. My teacher never asked us how we felt. He did not ask whether we were tired, sad, or restless. He simply said, begin. Step by step, we moved. Breath by breath, we practiced. At first, I thought this was cruelty. Later, I understood it was freedom. True discipline is not chained to feelings. Feelings shift like clouds across the sky, sometimes light, sometimes storm. If you live by them, your life will scatter in every direction. Discipline is the root that holds steady no matter how the weather turns. It is the decision to move even when the heart resists. It is the choice to act not from mood, but from meaning. A Shaolin monk does not rise because he feels like rising. He rises because the path requires it. He repeats his forms, not because the mind is eager, but because the spirit must be sharpened daily. Over time, this rhythm becomes a refuge. The body knows what to do even when the heart is unsure. The mind learns to serve intention, not impulse. This is why the monk is free. He is not a prisoner of shifting emotions. He stands rooted in the ground of his own discipline, steady as a mountain, moving forward while others wait for the perfect mood that never comes. Many of the struggles people carry are not born from reality itself, but from the gap between reality and expectation. The mind builds a picture of how things should unfold, how people should act, how life should respond. When the world refuses to obey that picture, tension grows. This is imbalance, not because life has failed, but because the mind has clung too tightly to its own design. In Shaolin practice, the first step toward harmony is not control, but observation. The monk watches his own thoughts, like leaves floating on water. He does not chase them, he does not curse them. He simply sees. By watching without judgment, the storm begins to lose its force. This is the seed of peace. I once heard an elder say, when the heart is quiet, the truth arranges itself. At first, the meaning felt distant, but in time, through meditation and training, it became clear. The moment we release the demand for things to be different, we gain the clarity to act wisely. Awareness is not weakness, it is preparation. From still observation comes the strength to adjust without resistance. Discipline enters here. To observe without judgment is not natural for the restless mind. It must be practiced daily, like breathing, like movement. Through repetition, awareness becomes sharper than habit. Instead of being dragged by expectations, you begin to guide them, to reshape them, to align them with what truly is. Ancient teachers understood this as the root of mastery. Harmony is not a gift from the outside. It is the art of meeting life as it is, not as we demand it to be. In that meeting, balance is restored, and the warrior's spirit moves like water, flexible, calm, and unbroken. When most people see Kung Fu or Qigong, they see movement, strikes, stances, flowing hands, controlled breath. To the untrained eye, it may look like performance, a display of strength or grace. But to those who walk the path, each movement is not for the world outside. It is a mirror for the world within. In the monastery, a student might spend months repeating a single form. At first, his mind wanders. He wonders about progress, about praise, about the next lesson. His body becomes restless. The movement is awkward, forced. Then, slowly, something shifts. The longer he trains, the more the form stops being about the outer shape and starts being about the inner landscape. Every imbalance in his posture reflects an imbalance in his thought. Every hesitation in his hand shows hesitation in his spirit. The body does not lie, it reveals. Qigong deepens this truth. As the breath moves, hidden tensions surface. A clenched jaw, a restless chest, a distracted gaze, all rise to awareness. With patience, the practice teaches you to release what you hold unconsciously. You begin to see that training is not about perfecting the form, but about uncovering the places where you are not yet free. This is why the old masters said, to know your body is to know your mind. The body is the map, the movements are the ink, and the training is the slow act of reading what is written there. Discipline here is not about showing strength, but about seeing clearly. Step by step, the practice turns into self-knowledge, and self-knowledge carried with humility is the true beginning of mastery. There is a saying within the temple walls, the obstacle is the path. At first, this sounds harsh, almost unfair. When hardship arrives, the heart cries out, why me? But Shaolin teaches that nothing comes without meaning. Every challenge carries a task hidden inside it, and the task is always pointed toward growth. A young monk once complained to his teacher that his training was too hard. His legs ached from horse stance, his arms trembled from endless strikes, his spirit felt worn. The teacher simply replied, "Good. Now you are meeting your mission." The monk did not understand until much later, when he realized that the pain had carved patience, the struggle had carved strength, and the repetition had carved resilience. The hardship was not punishment. It was shaping him into someone capable of carrying greater weight. When life is seen through this lens, even suffering changes color. The loss, the delay, the betrayal, all of these become missions. They press the spirit not to break it, but to awaken it. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Discipline plays its role here. To recognize hardship as mission requires a steady mind, one trained not to react but to reflect. It requires the courage to meet discomfort without fleeing, and the patience to trust that growth often wears the mask of difficulty. The ancient masters knew this well. They did not wait for easy days to practice. They embraced the hard days as the true teachers. For it is through those missions that the spirit becomes unshakable, and the path reveals itself as one long journey of purpose. There is a moment in training when thought becomes heavy. The student thinks of each step, each strike, each breath. He tries to control the sequence, but the effort slows him. Movements that should flow like a river instead stumble like stones. This is the burden of a mind that clings. Zen speaks of no mind or mushin. It is not emptiness in the sense of absence, but emptiness in the sense of freedom. The mind is no longer stuck to one thought, one fear, one expectation. It becomes like the open sky, vast, clear, without obstruction. In this state, awareness and action no longer stand apart. To move is to know, and to know is to move. The masters often compared this state to water. Pour water into a cup, it becomes the cup. Pour it into a riverbed, it flows with the curve of the earth. Water does not resist, it responds. And yet, in that softness lies great strength. A stone may resist, but in time water wears it down. This is the spirit of no mind. In martial practice, it means the strike comes without delay, the defense without hesitation, but it reaches far beyond combat. In daily life, no mind allows you to meet each moment without dragging the weight of yesterday or the fear of tomorrow. You become present enough to see clearly, flexible enough to adapt, steady enough to endure. Discipline brings you here. The countless repetitions, the long hours of stillness, the breath synchronized with movement, these train the mind to loosen its grip. What begins as deliberate practice opens into effortless flow. No mind is not something you chase. It arrives when you stop clinging, when the river of awareness is free to move on its own. There is a quiet danger in becoming skilled. With time and repetition, the hands learn their craft, the mind grows confident, and certainty settles in. But certainty can become a cage. The expert believes he already knows, and so he stops truly seeing. What once was alive turns rigid. Zen calls this the trap of the expert. The antidote is Shoshin, beginner's mind, to approach each moment as if for the first time, no matter how familiar it may seem. Beginner's mind is not ignorance. It is openness. It is the courage to set aside assumptions and meet reality as it is, not as memory insists it should be. In the monastery, a master once handed the same basic form to both novices and seniors. The novices struggled, but their eyes were wide, their attention sharp. Every movement was discovery. The seniors, by contrast, moved smoothly but half-present, their minds drifting, certain they had already mastered it. The master simply said, the novice is closer to truth. Even routine matters. Walking, eating, breathing. With beginner's mind, these are not dull repetitions, but opportunities to witness life unfolding in its smallest details. The taste of water, the sound of the wind, the weight of the body in each step, all of these reveal lessons if met without judgment. Discipline nurtures this state. It reminds us that practice is never finished. Each stance, each breath, each day is a chance to see anew. To live this way is to remain fluid, curious, unbound by pride. Ancient teachers understood that wisdom is not about accumulation but about renewal. Beginner's mind keeps the spirit fresh, like spring water flowing endlessly, never stagnant, always alive. Mindfulness is often spoken of as if it were something distant, a lofty state reserved for monks seated in silence. But in Shaolin and Buddhist teaching, mindfulness is far more practical. It means to remember, to return again and again to awareness. Not once, not sometimes, but continually as each breath rises and falls. In the temple, this remembering was woven into every act. When sweeping the floor, the focus was on the sound of the broom, the feel of the dust beneath it. When eating, attention rested on the texture of rice, the rhythm of chewing. Even walking from one hall to another was not idle movement but a practice in balance and presence. Nothing was treated as trivial, because every moment held the chance to wake up. At first the mind rebels. It wants to wander, to dream, to cling to past and future. To notice this wandering is itself the beginning of discipline. Each time awareness drifts, it is gently returned, like bringing a child back home. With repetition, the act of remembering becomes as natural as breathing. This kind of mindfulness grounds you in the body. The rise of the chest, the shift of the muscles, the quiet beating of the heart, all become signals drawing you back to the present. From the body, the mind is steadied. From the mind, the spirit opens. The ancient masters taught that peace is not found in escape, but in this remembering. To observe without being pulled, to witness without clinging, this is the root of inner mastery. It is not an abstract ideal. It is the simple, steady discipline of being here, fully, in whatever the moment asks of you. There is a depth of awareness that cannot be reached by force. The mind, when it tries too hard, creates tension. It grasps at clarity, but the grasp itself clouds the vision. True presence is not something achieved through struggle. It is something revealed when struggle is released. The old teachers spoke of an awareness beyond choice, not the constant weighing of yes or no, not the restless deciding of this or that. Instead, a state of openness where the moment is met exactly as it is without interference. Like a mirror reflecting whatever stands before it, the mind rests clear, effortless, untouched. In training, this can be felt during long practice. At first, every movement is deliberate, heavy with thought. Step here, breathe now, strike this way. But after countless repetitions, the body remembers and the mind loosens its grip. Suddenly, the action flows on its own. There is no choosing, only responding. The practitioner and the movement are not separate. This same state extends into daily life. When awareness opens fully, even simple acts, pouring tea, listening to rain, sitting quietly, become complete in themselves. No future is chased, no past is clung to. In that openness, peace appears not as an idea, but as a living presence. Discipline guides the way because it takes training to let go. Paradoxically, effort is needed until effort can be released. The repetition, the stillness, the breath, all prepare the mind to rest without clinging. Ancient wisdom held that this state is closer to our true nature than the restless mind we mistake for self. To rest in effortless awareness is not escape, but return. The return to being fully here, without division, without demand, simply present. In meditation halls, the monks were not shielded from their own restlessness. They were told to sit, unmoving, even as the mind raced with memories, regrets, or fears. The task was never to push those thoughts away, for resistance only strengthens them. Instead, they were instructed to see clearly, to let the thoughts rise and fall like waves. By watching without clinging, the waves lost their power. Forgiveness was part of this training too. Not forgiveness offered to others alone, but forgiveness of oneself. The past with its mistakes and wounds is a weight the mind loves to carry. Without forgiveness, the spirit bends under its heaviness. To forgive is to loosen the grip, to allow the past to rest where it belongs. Only then does the present open. Holding center does not mean never feeling disturbed. It means that even when emotions surge, there is a deeper ground untouched by them. Like the roots of a tree that do not sway though the branches whip in the wind, the centered mind remains steady. This steadiness is built through discipline, through returning again and again to breath, to body, to awareness, until the center is unshakable. The wisdom is simple. Do not chase chaos away. Recognize it, forgive it, allow it to pass. Peace comes not from defeating the storm, but from realizing you are more than the storm, that within you lies a ground that cannot be moved. There is a quiet strength in beginning small. Many wait for the perfect hour, the perfect energy, the perfect alignment before they act. But days pass, and the task remains untouched. Procrastination grows heavier with every delay, and the spirit begins to feel powerless. Shi Xingmi, a Shaolin master who carries ancient discipline into modern life, teaches a different path. He speaks of small rituals, micro-commitments, the kind that ask for only 5 minutes of action, 5 minutes of stretching before dawn, 5 minutes of breath before the noise of the day, 5 minutes of movement, of reading, of silence. What seems little begins to shift everything. The wisdom is clear. The mind resists what feels too great, but it cannot argue with the small step. And once the step is taken, momentum begins to build. 5 minutes often turns to 10, 10 to 20, and soon the task that once felt impossible is already behind you. The mountain is climbed by placing one steady foot upon the earth, again and again. In Shaolin tradition, this is how mastery is forged. Not through sudden leaps, but through steady drops of effort, repeated endlessly, like water wearing stone. The disciple who practices one form each day for years gains more power than the one who trains recklessly for a short season. These micro-commitments are not about doing less, but about removing the mind's excuses. They remind us that action, no matter how small, holds more weight than endless thought. Through ritual and repetition, discipline becomes natural, and strength quietly accumulates. Over time, the small steps carve a path of power, and what once felt overwhelming becomes effortless. This is how mastery grows, patiently, one committed moment at a time. The path we have walked together in this message is not distant, not unreachable. It begins with the smallest of choices, where you place your attention, how you meet each moment, how you carry yourself through both stillness and struggle. Discipline rooted in meaning steadies you. Training of the body reflects the truth of the mind. Awareness, open and curious, keeps you alive to the present. Even setbacks, when seen as missions, become steps on the way. Do not wait for the perfect day to begin. Bring these lessons into your life now, in the breath you take, in the thought you release, in the small step you choose today. True mastery is not hidden in grand gestures but in steady practice, lived moment by moment. May you walk with clarity, with patience, and with peace. If this teaching has spoken to you, support our journey by liking this video and subscribing to our channel Shaolin Soulfire. Let us continue walking this path of wisdom together.